A devastated Lexie hits EJ where it hurts, while Marlena helps Kat unlock the truth about Italy. Salem has never been a city where secrets stay buried for long, but this time the emotional fallout may be impossible to contain. As old wounds reopen and forgotten memories begin to resurface, two storylines collide in dramatic fashion. One family faces heartbreak after a painful confrontation, while another mystery edges closer to a shocking solution. The latest chapter begins with Lexie reaching her breaking point. For weeks, she has watched the people she loves become casualties of lies, manipulation, and impossible choices. Every conversation seems to lead back to one person, EJ. Once admired for his confidence and determination, EJ now finds himself standing alone as the consequences of his decisions come crashing down. Lexie isn't interested in excuses anymore. She walks into the Dimira mansion carrying years of disappointment on her shoulders. The atmosphere is tense before either of them even speaks. EJ tries to maintain his usual calm exterior, greeting her with cautious optimism, but one look at Lexie's face tells him this conversation will be different. "You always think you can fix everything after you've broken it," she says quietly. The words land harder than any shouted accusation. EJ attempts to defend himself, insisting that every difficult choice he made was intended to protect his family. But Lexie refuses to let him rewrite history. She reminds him that protecting loved ones doesn't mean controlling their lives or keeping devastating secrets hidden until it's too late. Her voice trembles as she lists the damage left behind. Broken trust, destroyed relationships, children forced to pay the price for adult mistakes. For perhaps the first time in a long while, EJ has no clever response. Instead, he listens. Lexie continues, explaining that the greatest pain isn't what happened. It's realizing that someone she believed in repeatedly chose power over honesty. Her disappointment cuts far deeper than anger ever could. "You didn't lose because your enemies beat you," she says. "You lost because you stopped recognizing yourself." The remark strikes directly at EJ's greatest weakness: his pride. Throughout his life, EJ has defined himself by winning impossible battles. Losing business deals or political influence never frightened him nearly as much as losing the respect of the people closest to him. Hearing Lexie's words forces him to confront something he has desperately avoided. Maybe she is right. After Lexie leaves, the silence inside the mansion feels overwhelming. EJ stands alone, surrounded by luxury that suddenly feels meaningless. Every portrait on the walls reminds him of family members who have either turned away or questioned his judgment. For a rare moment, Salem's most confident schemer looks genuinely broken. Meanwhile, another emotional journey unfolds across town. At the hospital, Marlena notices that Kat continues struggling with fragmented memories connected to her mysterious trip to Italy. Pieces of conversations, unfamiliar streets, and haunting faces appear in brief flashes, disappearing before she can make sense of them. Rather than forcing the memories, Marlena suggests a gentle therapeutic approach. She knows firsthand that trauma often locks away important details until the mind feels safe enough to revisit them. Inside Marlena's office, the lights are dimmed, creating a peaceful environment free from outside distractions. Kat admits she's frightened by what she might remember. Every recovered memory seems to raise even more questions. "What if the truth changes everything?" Kat asks. Marlena smiles reassuringly. "The truth doesn't create pain," she explains. "It reveals where healing needs to begin." The session begins slowly. Marlena encourages Kat to close her eyes and focus on sensory details instead of searching for specific events. The smell of fresh espresso, warm Mediterranean air, church bells echoing across narrow streets, cobblestone roads beneath her feet. Almost immediately, Kat's breathing changes. The memories become stronger. She sees herself standing in a crowded Italian marketplace. Someone is calling her name, though the voice remains distant. She remembers holding an envelope tightly against her chest, as if it contained something incredibly valuable. Then another image appears. A man wearing dark sunglasses hands her a small key before disappearing into the crowd. Kat suddenly opens her eyes. I've seen that key before. Marlena encourages her not to rush. Sometimes a single recovered image unlocks an entire chain of forgotten experiences. Kat closes her eyes once more. This time she remembers entering an old stone building overlooking the sea. Inside waits a woman whose face initially remains blurred. As Kat concentrates harder, the woman's features slowly become clear. Recognition flashes across her face. I know her. The realization sends chills through the room. Although Kat cannot immediately remember the woman's name, she becomes certain this mysterious stranger holds the answers to everything that happened in Italy. Marlena carefully writes down every detail while encouraging Kat to describe the surroundings. Ancient paintings, blue curtains moving in the ocean breeze, a grandfather clock striking noon. Each seemingly insignificant detail could become an important clue later. By the end of the session, Kat feels emotionally exhausted but cautiously hopeful. For the first time since returning to Salem, she believes the missing pieces can actually be found. Elsewhere, whispers begin spreading throughout town that something significant has changed. Friends notice Kat's renewed determination. Family members observe EJ becoming unusually quiet.